Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for allowing me to take part in this hearing. Ms. Newman, it's been a pleasure to work with you over the last several months. I want to thank you again personally for coming to my district and helping us spread the word among our faith community about the resources that are available to them. I want to start with you because, as you know, one success that we have had recently is that we've worked together here to restore a significant amount of funding that was previously cut from a variety of DHS Office of Targeted Violence and Terrorism Prevention programs. And I wanted you to tell us in as concrete and straightforward terms possible what you are now able to do now that you have this new funding that you were not able to do before, how that will help, and what lessons has DHS learned from previous iterations of this program to make sure that we are effectively honing our efforts on where the threat is coming from right now, in accordance with the strategy you all put out.
Thank you, Congressman. I too have enjoyed the partnership and everyone on this committee's support for our efforts. I'm going to start with your last question, because I think it helps frame where we are today, the lessons learned. A couple of years ago, as you alluded to, the funding for this effort was reduced in large part because we were going through administration transitions, and the work that had been initiated was towards the end of an administration and not properly codified in a variety of mechanisms, getting things into budgets, making sure that there was appropriate policy documentation to say what we were trying to achieve, the expected outcomes, et cetera. One of the things that we looked to do when we were studying where does the prevention mission need to go, we first started with RAND, our FFRDC, and asked them to go look at the problem set because there were criticisms from multiple angles. You're targeting communities to this is pseudoscience, it doesn't actually work. RAND went out and studied, they came back, they said prevention does work. It's underfunded, here's where you need more money, and it needs to be locally based. You need to focus your efforts on equipping, empowering, informing the local communities, the local government to be able to conduct prevention efforts. So that gave us a framing, and from that we started talking to you all. And we started articulating a vision for where we wanted to go with prevention, acknowledging the mistakes of the past few years and looking forward to trying to build a better path forward. And I'm very pleased that because of those conversations with you, with your staff, that what is represented in this document here, Goal 3, that it is all about prevention. It redefines what prevention means. As many of you know, post 9/11, prevention was the imminent threat, stop the bomb from going off. Now prevention is much farther left of boom, working with individuals well before they contemplate an act of violence, trying to build resilience into society, and then as somebody is on that pathway to violence, trying to intervene before they've crossed that criminal threshold. Because of the funding that you have given us, the concrete answers, we're able to put 12 field staff in the field this year. We're going to be developing baseline capabilities for how you do prevention correctly to make sure we have proper protections in place for civil liberties as well as privacy, and as well as having the right handshake with law enforcement, with the FBI, so that if somebody does not successfully work through an intervention and off-ramp, that law enforcement is called in appropriately to disrupt. We're going to be able to engage with more stakeholders, especially the technology community. I think this is a space, as your earlier panels alluded to, that we need to have more conversations and see if we can be doing more to combat terrorist use of the internet. So that's just a snapshot of what we are currently working on, but there's much more to be done.
Thank you. Very, very quickly, I don't have much time left. Ms. Sanborn, you mentioned the arrests of the Atomwaffen Division members. What are they being charged with? If it's a campaign of intimidation? Because we're thinking about legal authorities and whether you have sufficient
Absolutely.
authorities.
I don't have the specific charges in front of me. I do remember that some of them involved the transmission of threats across interstate lines, wire communication, and whatnot. So typical tools we use in our toolbox.
Right. But we still can't charge someone with material support
Correct.
for the Atomwaffen Division. Right. Got it. Thank you, and I yield back.